Sims, and we're here with the first part of Code Realize Future Blessings. And we're probably going to do our normal intro when we start this. We're back with more Code Realize Future Blessings. Because I didn't say Guardian of Rebirth every time we started the last one, but anyway. So we're going to do a new game, obviously, because we can't do anything. I adjusted all of our settings and everything like that. But I don't have the character voices on. If you want me to turn them on, and then we just listen to them, and then we just repeat, and it might just take a little bit longer to go through this, we can do that. And I'm not sure if we'll do, like, hour parts. Maybe I'll keep them between 45 minutes and an hour, kind of like we got to the end of Lupin's, just because that's what we're used to already. But we'll see how it goes. If we get to, like, good starts. Oh, right, okay, we forgot to do this. I'm sorry, but our name is Spacey, all in caps. Because that's what we had in the last one. And I know I could do lowercase, but it was really more funny when it was like, Spacey! Spacey! And Van Helsing, you go over there. So, are you sure you want to use this name? I am absolutely certain I want to use this name. The tales of joyous union followed the events of Guardian of Rebirth. After story, White Rose. What's this? A tale that... Oh! Extra story, Finis. A tale that might have been told from the perspective of Finis. After story, White Rose. Tales of joyous union following the events of Guardian Rebirth. A tale... Oh, another story, Lupin's Gang. A tale as yet untold concerning events only hinted at in Guardian of Rebirth. Extra story, Horologium. So that's the one we do those after. A tale that might have been told from the perspective of Horologium's. And then Finis's. Okay, so we're just gonna... So wait, what happens if we do this? Begin the story. Okay, no, we don't want to do that. Okay. Oh, what am I doing? Whoops. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. Okay. Ooh, pick our boy. We're going to pick Victor because that's the one. We're going to do it in that order. Victor, Van Helsing, Impey, Saint Germain, and Lupin. Begin this story. Yes. Guys, I'm so excited for this. I'm going to fall off my bouncy ball. I committed a terrible sin. One that can never be forgiven. A sin so grave there's no atoning for it. Oh, so this is Victor. Okay, we're reading Victor's point. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This isn't... Sectarium. A rare element I accidentally synthesized while researching the Philosopher's Stone. And the very sin of which I speak. It was my greatest affront to humanity. A toxin fatal to the human body. If utilized as a chemical weapon in war, thousands, tens of thousands would die. I love how we're getting like the little CGs from the original. Oh, flashbacks, guys. It's warming my heart. I never dreamed my discovery would be used in the murder of human beings. The very thought haunts me to this day. I should never, ever have created such a fearsome, terrible substance. Every single day since the close of the Vampire Wars, this truth has tortured me. Had I never refined Sectarium, the vampire race would not be facing extinction. And the one I love most would never have had to face a life of loneliness and solitude, ignorant of human touch. But as I suffered, she told me this. Thank you, Victor. I'm alive because you created Sectarium. That's a fact that can't be denied. Thank you, she said. Not that everything was my fault, but instead that I was the reason she lived. Writhing and moaning in a pit of utter despair, her words saved me. Oh, I have no illusions. My sins will follow me and haunt me until the very end of my days. Yet, even so, I will be able to look toward the future, thanks to her and her words. My original intense need to rid her of her poison may have stemmed from the tremendous sense of guilt. Perhaps I deluded myself into believing I myself could be saved by erasing my sins. However, before I was entirely aware, I found myself fulfilled with a deeper emotion. I wanted to touch her and be touched. I wanted to feel her. My wishes were not born of guilt, but rather the simple and unvarnished truth. I admit this because they were granted. I truly Truly, truly love you. The end! Wouldn't that be fucking great? There's just a tiny little backstory, and you're like, it took 10 minutes to get there. Okay. Damn, that would suck. I don't know how long this game is, so. The way that it's doing the CG, like, I mean, it's got the same bar, but my bird can hear the birds on the TV. But the way our thing on the top looks, it looks weird. Anyway. Yes, it's lovely weather. Upon opening the door, brisk morning air dances along my skin, and the sounds of birdsong fill my ears. Looking upward, my vision is filled with a massive expanse of boundless blue. Victor, are you forgetting anything? You did forget your stethoscope yesterday. Victor Frankenstein. After. I was waiting for it to move. Like, the young man alongside a young girl faced his path and halted London's destruction. He's since returned to the Royal Society and lives together with the girl whose toxin is now neutralized. So basically, I'm assuming then, all of the little afters, like he goes back to the Royal Society and founds like a thing, and all the little stories is basically, but we're in it for each one of them versus he goes off on his own, you know. How do you remember that? But look here, I've got it today. You forgot your stethoscope yesterday. How do you remember that? It was fucking yesterday. I'm not stupid. I lost most of my memories, but I'm not dumb. Jesus, Victor. I love you. And your handkerchief? Here in my pocket, as you can see, the nice one, properly ironed. Your identification and Royal Society documentation? Royal Society, the world's largest science academy and pride of the United Kingdom, the heart of many discoveries that have since influenced the rest of the world. I like that we have a glossary again. It makes me feel like we're back and playing the original game. I haven't forgotten that either, even tied up with a string so I don't drop them. Is it just me or is it like really grainy? Like the CGs and everything. Like everything looks really grainy. Is it just me? Like why does it... It's not just me. It looks really grainy. Hold on a second. Settings. Game settings. There's only like that. Button configuration, default settings. I don't know. It just seems really grainy. And I'm not digging it. Like the other one was sharp and clear, and this looks really, really fuzzy, like kind of terrible. I'm a little bummed out about that. I mean, you know, it'll be okay if I just squint. I mean, I guess. I'm just a little bummed that the quality is really off, it seems, on this. I don't know. I thought when it started and we could see when we saw Spacey up there, I'm like, that looks really grainy around the edges, but I was like, whatever. But no, it's the whole game. It's really kind of a bummer. Anyway. Wait a minute. Do I forget things often enough to worry you this much? You're fine right now, but when work gets busy, always. Week before last, you had your shoes on opposite feet, and the week before that, you wore Cece to work instead of your pack. It's supposed to be Sissy, but whatever. A corgi and a member of Lupin's crew taken into Saint Germain's mansion, found with an injured leg, which is now prosthetic. He's a boy dog. It is supposed to be Sissy. I know, and if we turn on the voices, it's going to be, everyone's going to be calling Impey. Because that's technically his name, but we're so used to calling him Impey, that's what we're fucking calling him. Sorry. I was still half asleep when that happened. You wouldn't let me sleep the night before, and... I stare intently at Fran as he protests and gesticulates widely, then sigh. And here's what also... Now, this just poked, because in the anime, which came after the game, they kept calling him Fran. That was their nickname for him, Fran. And I was like, well, that's weird, because they never call him Fran in the game at all. Like... Impey called him Vicky at one point, but we always called him Victor, and now we're using Fran as a nickname for him. I don't like it. I gotta admit, I don't. We always called him Victor. His name was Victor. So it's weird that we're calling him Fran now. I know it's a nickname, but it's like, why can't we just call him Victor? Why can't we just fucking call him by his first name? Like, are we gonna start calling Van Helsing Abe? I mean, it would be better to use his first name, but we were always using Victor's first name. So this is weird to me, and it's, like, I don't know. Anyway, I stare intently at Fran as he protests and gesticulates widely, then sigh. It's fine. I guess it's our little pet name for him that everybody calls him, but I still just, it's weird that they threw that in here after the anime, like, I feel like this was more anime fan service. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let's do this because of people like the anime, as opposed to the actual game. Because you would have kept with the original. I mean, obviously they kept the backstory as part of the original, but calling him Fran, that never happened. Weird. And I wouldn't known that if I hadn't started watching the anime earlier. And I was like, huh. Anyway. Ugh, I'm sorry. I'm not looking after things the way I should. I'm just giving you a hard time. You're doing quite all right. We laughed together at that, and it felt good. I do like that the text is, like, huge. It just seems really big, which I'm not complaining about, but all right then, I'll get going. I'm sure I'll be back around my usual time. All right, see you this evening. Oh, hold on a moment. I noticed a cowlick poking up from Victor's head towards the back and reached out to... I jerk my hand back as if I'd been slapped and stare at it in dismay. My hand, my bare exposed skin, no longer protected by poison-proof gloves. Spacey, don't be afraid. Oh, perhaps he noticed my hesitation. Victor quietly took off his own gloves, then gently took my hand in his, right, because he gave us that stuff, the serum. From there, he gently guided my palm to his smooth, boyish cheek. There was no rotten stink of burning meat, no horrible sound of melting flesh, which I'm glad for, and no more fear of inadvertently taking a life. Indeed, all I could feel was warmth, the warmth of someone I love dearly. See, I'm perfectly fine. Better than fine. Your hand is so nice and warm. How do we notice a cowlick? His hair is all over the place, which I love, by the way, but still. Yes, it's such a relief. It seems like so little time has passed since I gained the ability to touch things. Victor, with infinite kindness, has tried to make me feel more comfortable about my bare hands. Whenever I get flustered, he reminds me of how warm they are. There's no need to rush this. You can take all the time you need to get used to it. You're a regular girl now. You won't be hurting anyone or anything again. He's right. My body no longer generates toxins. The deadly poisonous jab, the Horologium, is now essentially inactive, inert. But still it sparkles, embedded in my chest. I'm not going to ask how it happened. I don't even care. Horologium, white. See? It was white at the end of Lupin's route. A beautiful pure white gem that carries out the role of the heroine's heart and signifies that its transformation from Horologium to Philosopher's Stone has halted, as well as its production of the poison. All thanks to this precious man who clasps my hand in his. Thank you, Victor. Oh, so he found the... Well, I mean, he had the serum, remember? So, at the end. So we knew that, but he's actually found a cure, so. You're quite welcome, my dear princess. Oh, they all call us their princess. It's cute. As if to gradually wipe away my fears, Victor gently massages my palm. But... Victor, I am happy, but you're going to be late if you don't get going. Well, Victor lets go of my hand in a tizzy. I feel incredibly reluctant to let him go, wanting so much to feel his touch again. But then I glance at the watch in my pocket and give him a push on the back. Come on now, Victor, hurry! It sets a bad example when the Grand High Muckety Muck comes in late. The Grand High Muckety Muck. It's like we don't know his job title. It's cute. Good point. Anyway, I'm off. Goodbye. Did you call me a Muckety Muck? I wonder if he'll make it. Half giggling, half grimacing at Victor's antics, I bring my hand back to my cheek in the hopes of some of his warmth yet lingered. That's the only problem with it being so big. Okay. I see how this is going to go. Okay, we'll get used to it. If only he didn't have to work, I could have kept on holding him. The door suddenly springs back open, as if the desire I just voiced summoned Victor back. So sorry, I did forget something. Huh? Oh no, what is it this time? The house key? Your glasses? Not that. I love you, Spacey. And he's gone. It looks like he really did rush back just to tell me he loves me. That's so fucking cute. Guys, only moments before he'd no longer have any chance of making it in time. He came back. And he came back with a smile. At least he could have waited another second or two to hear my reply. I puff out my cheeks, then laugh. Now I have every excuse in the world to give him a serious what for when he comes back. Don't you agree he deserves it, Cece? I know it's Sissy, but... Cece had sided up to my feet, and I paused to pick him up before stepping out into the mansion. Right, first the cleaning. It's gotta be full spit and polish before Victor's back. We gotta clean this whole mansion? Fuck my life, I'm not signing up for that shit. We gotta hire a servant or something. The act of terrorism Her Majesty the Queen of England, Victoria, had been planning involved sacrificing her own life. Alexandrina Victoria, supreme leader of the British Empire and a beloved, widely supported monarch who puts her nation above all else. Oh. Okay, so in this, obviously, we're following what the canon in Victor's path, not the actual game canon, which makes sense because we chose Victor, so we should, whatever goes on in here should go on from what happened in his path, so. The act of terrorism Her Majesty the Queen of England, Victoria, had been planning involved sacrificing her own life. From thence it was supposed to escalate into a war for British supremacy, embroiling the entire world. The horrific endeavor was only prevented after putting our own lives in grave danger. Ever since her plot was thwarted, Victoria now espouses principles of peace that aim for progression and development. To prevent himself from making a mistake on the order of synthesizing Zicterium again, Victor had rejoined the Royal Society. Zicterium, a poisonous material that is said to be the precursor to the Horologium. Due to its enhanced toxic properties in a gaseous state, it was used as a weapon in the Vampire War. He's devoted to his research as the leading British Imperial Court alchemist. Alchemy. Alchemy refers to the practice of attempting to sublimate materials into a more complete state by transmuting base metals to noble metals. Through its scientific findings, technology was able to advance dramatically. Alchemist, the general name of those who research alchemy. Many strive to create the perfect substance known as the Philosopher's Stone. No longer would he try to hide from the past. It could only have been a decision he came to after much soul-searching, but once his mind was set, he burned with purpose. I stopped to take a quick breather, sweeping away the dust in Saint Germain's chamber. It was Count Saint Germain's mansion, where we, the members of Lupin's gang, had spent so much time together. Count, one of the royal and noble ranks of the aristocracy. There are other ranks such as Duke, Marquis, Viscount, and Baron. I know it's like Vicomte? Vicomte? Vicomte. Yeah. Vicomte. Vicomte. And Baron. In the United Kingdom and France, Count is the third highest rank. All that remains here of our merry troop are Victor, Cece, and myself. No. The Count, Lord and Master of the mansion, is away. After legally signing the property over to Victor and I, he departed to distant France. France, the great nation that is said to rival the neighboring United Kingdom in power. Lupin is originally from this country. This is why I spend each day taking such scrupulous care of the mansion, as I now feel it's my duty to do so. When everyone returns, I want them to come back to the manse just as they remember it. I hope they're all faring well. As I continue about my tasks somewhat absent-mindedly, I recall the faces of my friends whom I care so much about. Lupin and Impey remain partners, both seeking out something of great import. I don't know exactly where they are now, but I have no doubt they're gallivanting about, enjoying the excitement of adventure. And Lupin's sad because he lost us, and so is Impey, and I really can't handle the grainy quality of this. It's like starting to bug me. I'm going to be clean about that for the whole thing. I forget about it, and then it hits me, and it's just, I don't know. Van Helsing is working with Delhi, striving to protect the remaining vampires. Delacroix II, a boy who succeeded Delacroix the Vampire King. He vows revenge against Van Helsing for his clan, but under many circumstances he is undeniably under the care of Lupin's crew. Vampire, a subspecies that differs from humans, possessing immense physical abilities. Notably, vampires in this game's world are different from those of popular lore, and don't suck blood, fear garlic, and the like. A man who sought revenge, and a boy king who was the object of revenge. The two walk a fine tightrope together, but being able to see them shake hands and work towards a common goal is something I never could have imagined might happen. The friends I'd spent so much time with together here had all gone their separate ways. It's perfectly natural, and I want to be rooting for them. But perhaps because our time together here was so enjoyable, the mansion feels lonely and gloomy without hustle and bustle. I know that I'll see them all again someday. I know that very, very well, and yes, Victor isn't here during the day either. I never knew how lonely being alone was. I apologize, Cece. You're here with me. Cece was nestling close by my feet, so I hoisted him up to hold with both arms. Burying my face in his fur and absorbing his body heat, higher than a human's, I felt my loneliness dwindle away. Oh! There's also a serious delay in the, when you click. It doesn't take, it's like, that's not too bad, but it's noticeable. Sometimes I click and I'm like, and there we go. Cece seemed to take note of something and sprang out of my grip. Cece, wait! Who's visiting? I chase after Cece as he goes bounding off and end up in the dining room. Are you hungry? I just fed you breakfast. I regard him curiously. He answers with a single bark. A parcel I recognize sat alone on the floor, directly in front of Cece. Is this Victor's lunchbox? If it's here, then that means... If I hurry up and leave right now, I just might make it to the Royal Society before lunch. Thanks, Cece. Well, we may as well do this together. I realize it's a bit of a cheat, but this gives me an excuse to see Victor. Oh, Victor. Hurriedly getting dressed, I tug along the boisterous and bouncy Cece. We set off on foot toward the city of London. The skies are clear as can be. London was all abuzz, but when was it not? I see an elegant woman strolling with a parasol, escorted by a handsome young man. Voices blend together into a drone, children squealing with delight, their mothers half-heartedly chastising them for being so loud. If we had failed to stop the spread of Zicterium here in the city, the scenes that play out before me would not be occurring. Indeed, all of London would be a graveyard, an acropolis. I let the fact sink in. Everything I see before me was made possible through the tireless efforts of my friends. I'm so very glad we were able to defend this city. I smile at the exuberance of life all around me and make for the Royal Society. So sometimes like that it goes fine, and then other times okay, so that was the plan at least. Upon arriving at the plaza that fronted the society, a researcher delivers news I did not expect. That worked fine. I'm sorry, but Professor Frankenstein is not currently on the premises. I clicked that and you see her come up, but then he's not here. Do you know where he went? Her Majesty bade him attend a meeting at Buckingham Palace. A discussion to determine the course of governmental policy. Why is Buckingham Palace not in red? Weird. Buckingham Palace. A palace in the central part of London where the British imperial family resides. Its scale was originally small, but because Queen Victoria lived there, it became the official palace of the British royal family. Weird. Or so it seemed. Weary on my feet, I finally arrive at the very nexus of the United Kingdom. Buckingham Palace. I would be like, I'm just trying to bring his lunch to him. Because he left it at home, so is there an office or something? Or I could put it in? I mean, you show up at the palace I'm just bringing my boyfriend his lunch. That's fucking weird. Hey, by rights, I should have left Victor's lunch at the Royal Society and went home, but I've come all this way. I want to see him. Oh my god, you just saw him early in the morning. She's crazy. I'm momentarily taken aback. Such a frivolous desire brought me to the royal palace. I can't quite make out what's going on from this distance, but there are more guards than usual. The atmosphere is heavy. I'm not terribly familiar with how a kingdom is managed, but this meeting must be quite serious indeed. The overall mood did not suggest I would be welcome waltzing in through the gate. Yeah, I go back. Go back. I suppose I have no choice but to wait until it's over. I mumbled this to myself aloud, then. I was like, then. Waiting. Spacey, what are you doing here? Oh, wait! Hold on. Sorry. I figured I did not expect that to be Spacey, what are you doing here? Van Helsing? When did you get back to London? Oh my god, I want to hug you! Oh! You and Lupin are best friends! I don't care what world we're in, you and Lupin are besties. The last I heard, you were roaming the country searching for surviving vampires with Deli. Yes, I'm in the city today as part of that. What are you doing here? I thought I might bring Victor his lunch. Look at his face! You came out to the palace for that? Cece whined at Van Helsing, who seemed to be bemused. No, Cece. Keep your yelping down. It'll be trouble if the guards decide to investigate. And I click the button and I'm waiting. Sir Van Helsing! Is aught amiss? Who might this young lady be? I'm an acquaintance of mine. She's here to deliver materials that may be of importance during the summit. Van Helsing shot me a look fairly pregnant with meaning, and I nodded in response. Ah, is that so? Your forgiveness. It seems I was being vigilant to a fault. As you should be. It's your job. We're going in. Keep up. Marquis Renfield awaits us. All right. I'm just really disappointed in the serious graininess of the game. And the lag in the clicking buttons. I don't know. I mean, it could just be, maybe I just need to restart it, so we'll see what happens, next time we come in, but anyway. Thank you, Van Helsing. You got me out of a serious jam. I stow the hat I wear outdoors in a pocket and follow Van Helsing as he takes the lead. But who's Marquis Renfield? You're aware that Delacroix II and I are involved in defending vampire kind, yes? One of Delacroix II's aims is to establish a vampire-governed autonomous zone. Vampire protection policy. Protective measures for surviving vampires supported and conducted by Delacroix II and those of the new vampire factions. Marquis Renfield is proven to be a staunch supporter of the cause. My current charge is accompanying the two as their bodyguard. Deli's plans are that far along already? That boy is really working hard. Whether or not the idea goes any further depends on today's summit. I did hear that Victor is attending, but stay quiet, yes? I'd be like, can you just bring him his lunch? I'd be like, yeah, I'm just giving him these materials. It's Victor's lunch. And then perhaps the summit had just concluded. Van Helsing had led me to the inner courtyard of Buckingham Palace. The atmosphere was charged as countless people milled about. As the attendees filled out, I was struck by how different they all were. Some with measured, stern faces, others looking smugly self-satisfied. It was clear from the variety of expressions that opinions had just clashed. Victor and Delacroix are, over there. During the events of the Vampire War, one man drove you nearly to extinction. Me. Vampire War. Its official name was the Ireland Subrace Genocide. Few vampires remained even before this war. I froze mid-stride at the shock of hearing Victor state this so frankly. Van Helsing remained guarded silently, immobile as a statue. The poison gas deployed during the war was realized through refined Zicterium. Putting it as plainly as I can, my research resulted in the deaths of your kinsmen. So, that fog that brought death in its wake was you. I was about to step forward, but Van Helsing placed a hand on my shoulder, stopping me. I'm well aware that there are no apologies possible for this. I cannot find any way to atone. But even so, I had to seek out someone who had survived and attempt an apology. I'm fully aware this is a pathetic attempt to assuage my own guilt, but I'm truly so very sorry. He didn't intend for it to be used like that. Victor lowers his head gravely. Deli regarded him with a solemnity beyond his tender years. He softly shut his wide, amber-colored eyes, and from a distance it was impossible to surmise what he might be thinking. This is what I find interesting about this, so I just want to kind of like stop for a second. When I was going through the settings, you can turn off the character voices, and then you turn off Deli. So you could have all the character voices off except for Deli. You could obviously turn individual ones off because you can mute them, but I just think it's weird that they had settings for voices. It was like, all voices, Deli's voice. Weird. But there's also a thing in the menu. There's Deli's room. I really wonder what that is. Curious to find out. Nobody tell me. We'll figure it out. Don't ruin it. I stand with hands clasped, almost as if in prayer. The span of 3 long, deep breaths. That is all the young king took. And you are telling me this why? If you had not offered this information of your own volition, surely I never would have known, and you need not have suffered so. That would not have been right. Every time we've shared words, it's plagued me inside. I could have continued to keep it a secret, but staying silent, I was never able to share truly genuine moments with you. And that's why Then raise your head, Victor Frankenstein. Deli's kingly request was at odds with his soft tone. It occurred to me then that his smile had grown notably more mature. I am confident in my judgment of what sort of a man you are, and equally confident that you are incapable of creating tools of murder. But the fact remains... Stop. Your attempt to take responsibility for your creation is admirable, but the sins of the son are not also the father's. Were my illustrious father here, the great King Nosferatu, he would surely say the same. If you loathe this about yourself, you will come to loathe your entire being. So, enough now. My thanks, Delacroix. We know one another far too well for such distancing language. While I am King of the Vampires, I'm also your friend. You're right, Deli. That means so much to me. Look, he's embraced the name Deli. Look at Van Helsing be so proud of his little brother, his adopted brother. It's like his adopted son. Van Helsing's beaming. Look, he's practically crying with joy. I really just love doing this with Van Helsing. I really just love seeing him and he's just like smirking or like, yeah, no, you're okay. And be like, oh my God! He must be dying of joy inside. Because, you know, he's so muted that when he'd be like, yeah, you're all right, Lupin. You're like, oh, they're best friends. Oh, God. I love this game. I wish it were sharper. I really wish the art were sharper. Really just kind of sad at how grainy it is. It just takes away. They're still beautiful, don't get me wrong. It breaks my heart a little. Makes me a little frowny face, but surely you two are done now. Releasing the breath I'd been holding in during the tense encounter, I begin to walk. Even Van Helsing sighs in relief. I click the button. Wow! When did you become so like your father? Van Helsing, and Spacey too! Whoa! Did you just overhear us? I didn't intend to. I apologize. But that was very regal, Deli. What was it? You see how vast my capacity for magnanimity. Magnanimity. Like being magnanimous, but magnanimity. Like, I can't say that word anyway. Is. Your reaction just now proves you're still a child, though, I must say. What? You try to must say that one more time, Van Helsing. I'm happy for you, Victor. It finally feels like I've dealt with yet another thing that was plaguing me. In any case, what are you doing here? You forgot your lunch. I brought it to you. Spacey here showed me where it was. I held it out with a smile. It was on the floor. Well, how do you end up? Like, I just put my lunch on the floor, walk away, and then it's like, Victor's eyes sparkle when he sees the basket I'm holding. Wow, thank you. I just realized I forgot it and didn't know what to do. Because there's absolutely no place in London where you could buy lunch, but my thanks to both of you, Spacey and your Lady Knight Protectress. I had made the lunch just for him. I wanted him to enjoy it and eat. We laughed together jovially. It's really, God, Why did they put such words in here? And Deli conspicuously attempted to peek into the basket I'd arranged. Oh, so this is one of those human rights wherein the wife expresses her adoration for her husband by packing a lunch. Look, he's like embarrassed. Adora, that's not quite it. We're isn't it? Look, huh? Of course, I put adoration into these lunches every single day. I want them to make you happy. I make them because I love you, Victor. That's what I'm trying to say. That is, so do I, but such a private discussion in a public space. Mayhap we should have leave sleeping dogs lie on this one, eh, Cece? Or we should leave sleeping dogs lie on this one, eh, Cece? Oh, this is so embarrassing. Lovely, but embarrassing. That's so cute. After Victor got a fairly good ribbing. So, what's happening after this? Are you going back into the Royal Society? Oh, no, there's a different gathering after this. A talk is being held on newly discovered medicines. It's quite big. I'm sorry, if I had the time, I would have liked to take you back to the mansion. It's all right, I know how busy you are. Good luck with the rest of your work today. Thank you again for lunch. The brain won't function without proper nutrients, after all. He obviously is not getting proper nutrients because his brain ain't functioning. Right then, we shall take our leave as well, Van Helsing. I must report the day's happening to my kin. Indeed. Also, we do come up to London from time to time. We'll call on you when we do. Please, I'd always love you both to come visit. Well then, I'll be heading home. As I turn towards the way out... Oh, splendid. You're still present. Oh no, whoops. Oh, splendid, you're still present. I figured it was the Queen. I can't guess on this one. A gruff voice addresses me and I halt. Lionheart? Takes way too long for flipping. Is that color 8, Lionheart, color 0? Wow. Wow. There's a lot of fail in this one. I'm still going to love this game, but okay. First of all, we had the wrong highlight color, which doesn't bother me. This is fucked up, and it's so grainy, and it's really slaggy. Rampart, it's Leonhard, but Lionheart, that's what we call him. Captain of the Guard of the Imperial family who vowed absolute loyalty to the Queen. He was born a commoner, but rose ranks through his remarkable skill. He is among the Queen's most trusted subordinates, and so doing her on the side. Miss Spacey, apologies for approaching as you were about to leave, but may I have a bit of your time? Her Majesty the Queen would like to parley with you. I would appreciate your accompanying me if you may. The Queen? Victoria? With me? Confused, I look to Victor. His face seems to suggest he knows why this is, and he nods with a grin. Go ahead, don't be worried. I have a feeling something good will come of this. I follow Lionheart as he guides me through the palace, eventually arriving at the Grand Throne Room's audience chamber. I'm wondering if this one has choices. It might just be like a complete story. Like, it might just be like, there might not be any choices. I don't know. I raise my head to the throne, remembering the conflict that occurred in this very room. Then... You did well to bring her, Lionheart. And the young lady, it has been a while, no? The Queen of the British Empire smiled upon me with benevolence, an expression that seemed more gentle than before. Did I surprise you with the sudden invitation? I was informed you were on palace grounds and wanted a chat. Well, yes, it was sudden, and I was surprised. It's been a while, Victoria. Compose yourself, young miss. You address Her Majesty the Queen. Consider your duties as a subject. Quite fine, Lionheart. She's someone I've revealed my innermost thoughts to. We have nothing to hide from one another. If Her Majesty deems it so. Why me, then? Victor seemed to think something good would come of this. Would I classify it as something good? I cannot say, but I thought it right you and the professor should hear this properly. You are aware our empire is undergoing a dramatic shift in policy, yes? Yes, you're reducing military pressure on European powers, colonies, foreign ethnic minorities, shifting a policy of peace, or to a policy of peace. It's all the broadsheets and town hubbub seem to be talking about. What a wondrous change of heart in Her Gracious Majesty. A change of heart, they say. No, that's... Oh, not that. I was like, no, it's an inaccurate... Not. See, Spacey can't read. Not that it's an inaccuracy. In fact, after the incident, I personally walked the ruined streets of Lower Town to fully understand what I had wrought. Lower Town, a section of London where those of particularly low income live, and also home to the red light district. Because the area is typically ignored by soldiers, it is quite dangerous. It was the direct result of the terrorism I incited. All around me, grief and misery. Families driven from their homes due to the bombings. Children orphaned by sectarium. A city gravely wounded. My aim was to offer up Steel London as a sacrifice to forge the United Kingdom into an invincible superpower. Steel London, the capital of the United Kingdom and surrounded by 2 gigantic walls. The skill of Isaac, its architect, is apparent in a myriad of locations around the city. Boasts the world's most powerful defensive force. And all it resulted in was a grievous scar on our nation. Victoria's elegant features were twisted into a mask of suffering. It was obvious that regret and sorrow had become a deep sense of penitence. However, I also witnessed something else entirely. From that scar arose my subjects, gradually restoring their beloved city to its former glory. As they yet bowed their heads in mourning, still they rebuilt their homes. Still they found ways to survive and look forward. It's just as you all said before. The Britons and Great Britain herself are not weak, and now we're missing color. The United Kingdom. Britain, a powerful nation of Europe of many names, including Great Britain and the United Kingdom. Its proper name is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. No, they aren't. Every single one of your subjects have their own powerful thoughts and beliefs. You needn't coddle them as if they were babes. All of them can walk on their own. I feel like a mother still in awe that her child can walk. And thus I must be, acting as direct protector no longer, but rather observing progress with proper caution from afar. Even though this sudden and dramatic shift to pacifism may not bear its ripest fruit for generations, at present I labor solely for the betterment of all England, laying down the groundwork for those future Britons. Truly inspired brilliance, Your Majesty. Kiss her ass later, buddy. Though Lionheart stood behind his queen, he nods repeatedly, tears dotting the corners of his eyes. He's so in love with her. Perhaps Victoria knew him so well she could picture the scene as she begins to chuckle and takes a steadying breath. And so I am about to become unspeakably busy. No thanks to you folk for sparing my life. I haven't even a moment to grumble. If you need someone to whine and complain to, I'd be willing to lend an ear. You know, I might even be able to have Victor brew his special tea. It makes you feel so relaxed. Goodness, that is a tempting suggestion. Perhaps I'll invite you for high tea at court, or come calling upon you. If you choose the former, I'll bake some biscuits and bring them along. Victor's jaw would probably drop to the floor. Oh, look, we're like besties with the queen. I like us. Then let us endeavor to shock him out of his senses. Now, leaving that aside, follow me, she says with a single curt and regal wave of her hand. Is it entirely appropriate for me to be this close to the queen on her royal dais? I glance at Lionheart to find an answer, and find inscrutability. His expression is glum, but he makes no overt cries of denial. I suppose I am allowed up here. Flustered, I keep pace with Victoria. It's then that I notice her cool, intellectual eyes are sparkling with mischief? From the looks of things, you do seem to be carrying along quite well with Professor Frankenstein. Yes, Victor is always so very kind to me. Oh, only kind? Well, he's kind, yes, but has such a capacity for warmth. He tells me that he loves me every single morning. No words of gratitude could ever possibly be enough. He just makes me so happy. I'm relieved. Having another person in your life with whom you can share your innermost self, it seems like such a lovely thing. It is. I recommend it highly. You recommend it, do you? Truly speaking with you is so enjoyable, I can hardly stand it. Ah, perhaps I too should give marriage a try. He's like, because he's so in love with her, he can't handle it. He's like, no. Oh my god, I ship them so fucking hard, God. Marriage? Majesty, what on earth suddenly brings such words to your lips? It's hardly sudden. I am royal blood. As such, the issues of marriage and a dynastic continuity are unavoidable. No, what I mean to... Your Majesty could not possibly... Matrimony... The whole of Lionheart's body erupts into mighty shudders as his usually ruddy countenance goes pale. The Lionheart... No, it would be delightful. If it is for the delight of my Majesty and future of this country, a knight should bottle up personal feelings and... I, as but one humble knight in her Majesty's service, to offer blessings from the bottom of my heart. It was a jest. What? Steady yourself, Lionheart. If I were to marry, it would be in the distant future. Stabilizing the kingdom is paramount. And it goes without saying, I shall require your best efforts in this. Don't expect to take rest leave anytime soon. Look, he's like, oh, I can't. He can't stand to see her married because he's so in love with her. Oh! Even though she's the queen, she can't marry whoever she wants. But she's going to get married and be like, look, you can keep your girlfriend on the side because I got my boyfriend on the side. We cool? Bro fist. Woot! I just imagine her having that conversation with, but obviously more tactful and like queenly, but whatever. Your Majesty, if such is your august decree, I, Lionheart, shall devote my all to the cause, even should I lose my life. Lionheart stood tall, chest thrust out in pride, a knight's stance, yet somehow the smile on his face seemed more personal. After some lighter, more convivial chat, I make preparations to take my leave. I thought she was going to show us something. Did I miss? Okay. With the grand Buckingham Palace at my back, my steps feel lighter than usual. She just wanted to be like, what's up, girlfriend? I just need to talk to another woman. Jesus, it's like a sausage fest around here. She's like, I know, right? So that's what Victor meant when he said something good might come of this. I'd already heard through rumor in newspapers that the United Kingdom was likely to shift toward pacifism, but the fact Victoria chose to tell me directly felt like a true determination on her part, which put me in a grand mood. In any case, I never dreamt I might be able to share a pleasant afternoon chat with Victoria, who had been such a serious threat to us all. And I had just spoken to her about love? From the looks of things, you do seem to be carrying along quite well with Professor Frankenstein. I am. Quite well. Quite well indeed. In all honesty, I'm very happy. But... No sooner had I come to that honest realization did my heart begin to quiver. I am happy, and I could not be more sure. And yet I had come over with the sense that small but dangerous thorns may lie hidden in the path ahead, and I shuddered. Oh no. Spacey and I walk at a casual pace, the setting sun casting long shadows across the cobblestones. Spacey, why don't we take the long way home today? Perhaps it had been Victoria's words that spurred me to take this leisurely walk. It was just as she had said. The city of London was at long last a peaceful, thriving place once again. I passed a boisterous group of students engaged in friendly debate, and here a pair of young boys, probably brothers, dashing about excitedly. There an elderly couple enjoying the sunset together on a bench, both with cats perched lazily on their laps. Oh, I wonder if Victor and I will be like that someday, perfectly serene, many years from now. A future full of comfort and tranquility after all that needs doing had been accomplished. Will that day ever arrive? Dude, don't rush being old. I just broke my hip thinking about it. I tried for a moment to concentrate on that image, but it refused to manifest. Frowning to myself, I chased after Spacey, who would run off ahead. Dude, no dog on a leash? Bitch, come on. When one's every day is quiet and calm, that state gradually becomes the norm. And this twilight early evening was the very definition of such days. Victor had returned from his work, and we were sharing a late tea in my bedchamber. Why in your bedchamber? You're living in a mansion! You probably have a room for twilight tea. We have a room for morning tea, afternoon tea, evening tea, twilight tea, midnight snack tea, like midnight snack number 1 tea. Like, Spacey, is something wrong? You seem to be distracted or... Startled out of my reverie, I look at him. My tea had already grown cold. I had been gripping the cup with both hands. If you're not feeling well physically, I'd be happy to examine you. I'm fine. Completely fine. And it wasn't a lie. Physically, I felt fine. I gulped down the rest of my tea as if to add further emphasis to the statement. Indeed, if you ever feel unwell during the day, you know you can come see me at the Royal Society. Never feel that you're imposing just because I happen to be at work. Perhaps I just worry too much. Victor reaches out to comfort me, placing a dainty kiss on my cheek. Aw. You're very important to me. So very important. You're the one I love. Thank you, Victor. I press a palm against my chest and take a deep breath. Could it be the reason I feel so anxious sometimes is simply because I'm unused to being so happy? Rising in the morning, seeing Victor off, taking care of housework, greeting him when he returns. Idyllic days spent with one another. Calm and happy days. That I can't help but wonder how long they will continue. How long can they continue? Say, you really do seem a bit under the weather. A guest? Someone from the society? Could be. I'll go see. Neither of us could have imagined how thoroughly and completely wrong we were. Dun dun dun! Ah! I know, we totally just ended the last game, but it's like, oh my god, it's like we haven't seen you in forever, Saint G! Oh! I just get so excited when we see our friends. It has been far too long, Victor. And of course you, my dear. This is Saint Germain! Who should show up at our doorstep? His doorstep. But one of our gang. Count Saint Germain. Saint Germain, it's been too long. I'm pleased to see you looking so well. That I am. And I see the both of you are as well. I'm terribly sorry to impose on you so suddenly. Hardly. I only wish you'd sent word beforehand. I would have made something special. I shall save that pleasure for another time, perhaps. You were abroad in France on business, yes? Is it settled already? Yes, well, something like that. Speaking broadly. So you'll be staying for a while? I keep the rooms ready. You can settle right in. Nothing would please me more, but I'm afraid I shan't be staying long. In all truth, I had hoped against hope that matters might continue as peacefully as they have been of late. But alas, Saint Germain, did something happen? A heavy silence descends upon the drawing room. Saint Germain stood with bowed head for some time. At length he lifted his gaze to meet ours, and there was pain in it. The fact is, there is someone I would like the two of you to meet. No, I misspeak. Rather, it is someone you both must confront. Our mysterious friend's face remained grim as he bade Victor and I leave the mansion. Scarcely a word passed between us on the way to wherever we were going. We walked almost the entire distance in silence, only to arrive at Tower Bridge. Like it opens, you're like, Spacey rolled back on her bouncy ball, backing up. Beep, beep, backing on up. Nothing good ever happens at the bridge at night. Nothing ever good ever happens on this fucking bridge. Usually at night, though. The one time we were here during the day, it was fine, but... Tower Bridge. The bridge that crosses the River Thames. Quite famous for how it opens and closes whenever a ship passes by. Historically, it was completed in 1894, but it was ahead of its time in the game's setting where Isaac devised it. Night winds passed through the struts and girders of London's grandest bridge, keening eerily. Beneath the stars and so high above the city, its constant din was reduced to a low, murmuring echo. How odd. There isn't a soul about. It isn't terribly late. There should be traffic across the bridge. Nothing good ever happens on this bridge. He's right. It's quiet. Too quiet. Victor had to rescue us from this bridge. Saint Germain died on this bridge. I don't remember if anything happened with Van Helsing on this bridge, but still, this bridge, nope. And it isn't only the lack of passers-by. Just standing atop the bridge makes my chest feel pulled taut like a bowstring. So taut that it might snap in two should we make the wrong move. Who is this person you want us to meet? They will arrive momentarily. Saint Germain, I was really happy to see you, but don't be getting stabby on me. Mere moments after Saint Germain uttered these words, the sound of the city below simply ceased. Is it omnibus? It's Guinevere. Great. And the true thing, I was like, but we know Guinevere and omnibus. In Victor's path, we never met them, so it's okay. Yeah, we've never met them. Oppressive metallic clanking heralded the arrival of a majestic figure, a white knight. The figure stood out against the black of night so starkly one could scarcely believe its armor did not radiate light. A knight? That armor, I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. I have been observing you ever since you came into contact with Saint Germain. It is entirely possible you saw me. The voice that resonates forth from the figure's helmet is entirely at odds with its domineering appearance. A woman. Victor and I look at each other, mouths agape. Observing? You mean us? Allow me to explain the details, if you would. The imposing knight yields, followed by the incongruous squeaking of a small-wheeled vehicle echoing across the bridge. Oh, maybe that was Omnibus talking. Seeming to coalesce from the darkness, a sight even more baffling than that of a knight, an elderly woman in a wheelchair. The sharp, ethereal glint of her eyes, however, could hardly be termed elderly. Here's the thing, though. I'm getting a little tired of their Jesusness. Okay? Don't get me wrong, I love them. Wait. Okay. No. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, but we already know that he got kicked out of Idea. No, you're right. It wasn't in Victor's. That was only in Lupin's. But it's really hard for me to kind of remember and like pull the paths apart in my head. Because Lupin's wraps them up so neatly. So in Victor's, no, we never learned about Saint Germain or Idea. But here's the thing: we stopped that plot. Finnis might not actually be totally dead, though, in this one. You know what I mean? And Saint Germain might still be part of Idea, but they would have no point in trying to kill us because the Horologium is basically dead. It's useless now, right? It stopped creating the Philosopher's Stone, so I just have this random crystally gem in my chest that can't do anything. It's not poisonous. It can't be used to bring anybody back or create or you go against or enact Isaac's plot. So, I mean, I don't understand why they would be coming after us. And maybe they're not, but I just have a bad feeling about this. But anyway, I am actually going to wrap this part up here. And we're going to figure out what they have to do with us in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.